Spider-Man 3. A very weird but still very fun installment in the Sam Raimi trilogy. In this movie, Peter, played once again by Tobey Maguire, is living his best life as Spider-Man. He is loved by the city of New York and things are going very well for him. However, the same can't be said for Mary Jane Watson, played once again by Kirsten Dunst. She just got fired from her Broadway career because she's not good enough. And to make matters worse, she feels like Peter isn't really listening to her. Meanwhile, Harry Osborn, played once again by James Franco, is now hell-bent on getting revenge on Peter for killing his father. And as a result, he follows in his dad's footsteps and becomes the new Goblin. And that's not even half of the movie. There's also an escaped convict named Flint Marko, played by Thomas Hayden Church, who after getting trapped in a sandmaker, becomes Sandman. Peter later finds out that Flint Marko was actually the man that killed his Uncle Ben, making him both angry and depressed. Also, after his first fight with Peter, Harry ends up hitting his head and as a result loses his memory. Meanwhile, an alien substance bonds with Peter to help him become the black-suited Spider-Man. This new suit enhances Peter's strength and speed, but in turn makes Peter very angry and vengeful. And Peter ends up going after Sandman to avenge his uncle. Meanwhile, Harry gets his memory back and resumes getting revenge on Peter. Harry and Peter's second battle is much deadlier than the last, and as a result, Harry almost dies from it. Now, before I continue with the review, let me just say something real quick. If the film set up for Harry to become Venom in the end of the movie, then this would have made a lot more sense. I mean, think about it. Harry has wanted revenge on Spider-Man since the end of the first movie. His vengeance is already established. It would make complete sense. But instead, we get this doofus. Enter Eddie Brock, played by Topher Grace. He's no Tom Hardy, I can tell you that much. So anyway, Eddie is the new guy at the Daily Bugle and ends up forming a rivalry with Peter. But he ends up getting fired after Peter accused him of making a fake article. Peter continues to use the black suit, for it has improved his skills as Spider-Man. It isn't until Peter gets into a fight with one of the bouncers at a jazz club and accidentally hits Mary Jane where he finally realizes what the symbiote is doing to him mentally. Feeling heartbroken and at his lowest point, Peter decides to go to a church to seek redemption, and tries to get the black suit off of him. Meanwhile, Eddie Brock just happens to be at the same church as Peter at the time, but instead of redemption, he wants revenge. Peter eventually manages to break free from the symbiote, and the symbiote ends up bonding with Eddie to become Venom. Now, if the movie ended right there, Venom could have been used for Spider-Man 4, and he would have had a lot more screen time. Eddie, who is now Venom, finds Sandman and offers to form an alliance against Spider-Man. Sandman agrees, and the two come up with a plan. Venom and Sandman capture Mary Jane in hopes of luring Peter to their trap. Peter tries to get Harry's help to fight Venom and Sandman, but Harry refuses. But he eventually agrees when he finds out what really happened to his dad. Peter and Harry then team up to bring down Venom and Sandman. Sandman is easily defeated, but Venom not so much. Harry ends up getting killed by Venom, and it's up to Peter to stop him. Peter finds out that the best way to beat Venom is through vibrations. And sure enough, Peter is able to separate Eddie from Venom. But Venom is not going down without a fight. When Peter throws one of Harry's pumpkin bombs at the symbiote, Eddie jumps in to try and save the symbiote. And in turn, Venom is defeated. Peter and MJ end up reconciling, and that's how the movie ends. That wasn't even half the movie, but I could not be bothered to add in scenes that I thought were pointless to add in, because the review is already about 5 minutes long. The biggest problem with Spider-Man 3 is that there's way too much going on. It's still a decent film, don't get me wrong, but it's just way too complex and sometimes very hard to follow. Overall, I give this movie a 7 out of 10.